Let's go Broncos! The mood is electric behind the scenes at the Denver Broncos, and I've got some big things to unpack with you all today. We know the Broncos are all in on a Super Bowl push, and for that to happen, Sean Payton is going to need a top-tier roster. I'm about to break everything down, but before I do, hit that like button, asterisk, but only if you're a real Denver Broncos fan star. If you've been with this team for 20 plus years, I salute you. Drop a comment like, "Go Broncos!" My heart bleeds orange and blue. The Denver Broncos have turned the tide, and no, you're not dreaming. This team has gone from the depths of despair, a 5-12 team under Nathaniel Hackett just a couple of seasons ago, to a legitimate AFC contender. That transformation is nothing short of remarkable. Under Sean Payton's leadership, this franchise has reinvented itself. What's even more incredible is that the 10-win season we had last year is now being seen as the floor for this team. Let that sink in. 10 wins is our new baseline. Last season wasn't a fluke. The Broncos were ranked 7th in the entire NFL for point differential, only behind powerhouses like the Ravens and Bills. That stat alone speaks volumes. And here's something even more mind-blowing. We won 1-5 in one-score games. That usually signals a rough year, but despite that, we still managed 10 wins. What does that tell you? It means when we won, we dominated. When we lost, it was by razor-thin margins. The only real exception being that tough game against the Ravens when Bo Nix threw an interception off a tipped pass. But for the most part, every loss was a battle. Now contrast that with the Chiefs, who won 11-0 in one-score games last season. That type of record is unsustainable, especially when multiple referees from their games were demoted to lower leagues like the UFFL. That type of luck isn't likely to repeat, and when things even out this season, the Broncos stand to benefit more than any other team in the division. Let's look at the schedule. Yes, the Broncos face 8 playoff teams this year, but guess what? They have the third easiest schedule in the AFC West. Only the Raiders have a slightly easier run. Both the Chiefs and Chargers face tougher slates. The Broncos' opponents have a combined winning percentage just above .500, and if you believe in statistical regression, then Denver's one-score game luck is bound to swing back in their favor. Advantage, Broncos. Defensively, this team is terrifying. Last year, they set a franchise record with 63 sacks. Let's repeat that, 63 sacks. That's an elite pass rush. For years, Denver struggled to get even one double-digit sack guy, and now we've got 2, Nick Bonitto with 13.5 sacks and Jonathan Cooper with 10.5. Add to that a wild stat, 16 different players recorded at least half a sack last season. That's called depth. That's called a relentless, rotational pass rush. Then we bring in Jonah Ellis, youngest rookie to ever notch 5 sacks in NFL history, and he did that with a shoulder injury. He's back healthy now. Dar Tillman, who jumped straight from the UFFL to the Broncos with no rest, still managed 5 sacks. These are not ordinary contributors. This is a unit poised to be even nastier this year. And we haven't even touched on the Dre Greenlaw signing. That, my friends, is a game-changing move. You go from Justin Strnad to Dre Greenlaw at inside linebacker, and the upgrade is just unreal. Greenlaw is not just a hard hitter. He closes gaps that most players wouldn't even attempt. The guy reads plays like a chess master and punishes ball carriers like a heavyweight boxer. Remember, the 49ers were begging him to return. Shanahan and John Lynch flew to his home to plead with him, and he chose Denver. His arrival also brought Talanoa Hufanga with him, another backfield hunter who's going to wreck plays for opposing offenses. You've now got Greenlaw, Hufanga, and a healthy Alex Singleton. That's a linebacker core capable of shutting down any run game and making quarterbacks pay for every dropback. Let's not forget the offensive line either. PFF ranked the Broncos as one of the best in football, top in pass blocking, and they allowed the fewest pressures on a QB all season. That's a dream setup for any quarterback, especially Bo Nix, who for the first time in his football life has continuity with a play caller and offensive coordinator. That kind of stability is rare, and it's crucial for quarterback development. The secondary? Ranked 3rd best in football, and that might even be underrating them. You've got elite talent, underrated names, and one of the best young corners in the game added through the draft. This defense is going to make national headlines. Bo Lowry's health program is another X factor. The Broncos have been the healthiest team in the NFL over the past 2 seasons. If that trend continues, Denver will have a full arsenal on the field more often than not, which can be the difference in tight games. And national media is starting to wake up. Vegas increased the Broncos' win projection from 5.5 to 9.5. Analysts are saying bet the over. They're pointing to the Broncos' improvement in roster, health, coaching, and schedule. So here we are. The Broncos are not just hoping to be competitive, they are poised to shock the NFL. The foundation is strong. The culture is real, and Sean Payton was just ranked the second best coach in the entire league. Here's my question to you, Broncos country. Are we ready to believe again? Because everything is pointing toward this being a special season. And let's get right into it. This isn't just hype, it's a pattern, and every data point backs up what Broncos fans have been feeling in their bones since Sean Payton arrived. We're building something sustainable. Let's dive deeper into the factors that make this more than just a hopeful narrative. Start with the culture shift. If you remember the end of the Hackett era, the locker room was flat, performances were inconsistent, and there was no accountability. Contrast that with what's happening now. Payton has brought a level of discipline and structure that this team desperately needed. There's a toughness, a swagger, and most importantly, a sense of direction. That's why players like Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga chose Denver over more traditionally stable franchises like the 49ers. It's not just about money, it's about belief in the system. Sean Payton doesn't just bring pedigree, he brings results. And his impact has trickled down to every position group. The offensive line that was once a liability is now a strength. The defensive unit that struggled to get pressure or create turnovers just a few years ago is now a nightmare for opposing offenses. We've gone from being pushed around to doing the pushing, and that's the kind of identity shift you only see when a team is being molded from the top down. And speaking of defense, how about this secondary? Ranked third in the NFL, and that still doesn't feel high enough. With elite young talent and a defensive backfield that's now deep and versatile, opposing quarterbacks are going to have to think twice before targeting anyone in orange and blue. Add in a guy like Hufanga, who brings both playmaking ability and leadership, and suddenly you've got one of the most intimidating defensive units in football. And it's not just about coverage, it's about creating turnovers, changing momentum, flipping the field. Now, let's talk about Bo Nix. Look, people forget how difficult it is for a quarterback to perform when the offensive system changes every season. This year, for the first time since high school, Bo Nix enters a season with continuity in the coaching staff. That alone could unlock another level of play from him. Add in the best pass-blocking offensive line in the league, a deep running game, and versatile weapons on the outside, and you've got a setup where Bo can thrive, not just manage, thrive. We also need to highlight one crucial but underrated element, injury prevention. Bo Lowry's health program has quietly been one of the Broncos' biggest assets. Over the past 2 years, Denver has been the healthiest team in the league, and that's not a coincidence. When you keep starters on the field week in and week out, it builds chemistry and consistency, two things that have defined all successful playoff teams in the past decade. Just look at recent Super Bowl champions. The healthiest teams down the stretch often win it all. Denver's medical staff might be its most underappreciated weapon. And don't forget the talent pipeline. The draft picks from the last couple of years are already paying dividends. Jonah Ellis, who was barely able to showcase his talent due to injury, still managed 5 sacks as a rookie. This year, with a clean bill of health, expectations are sky high. The rookie cornerback, taken at number 12, was considered by many the second best in all of college football, behind only Travis Hunter. If that talent develops at the NFL level, this secondary might not just be top 3, it might be the very best. Let's also touch on momentum. Momentum is real in football. The Broncos aren't just improving on paper, they're earning national recognition. When respected outlets like ESPN, PFF, and Vegas odds makers all start pivoting toward Denver as a team to watch, those are smoke signals that something big is coming. You don't go from being laughed at to being seen as a real threat unless everything is clicking. Culture, talent, coaching, health, development, schedule. It's all pointing in the same direction. And guess what? Even national media figures are starting to show respect. We've got players like Zach Allen and Hufanga being called out as underrated studs. That's a major shift from a few years ago when it felt like no one outside of Colorado even remembered the